What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by that title and that thumbnail, I am going to be sharing with y'all my labor and delivery story. First and foremost, I was supposed to be, well, my due date was October 6, 2020. I actually had him on September 17th, 2020. I was 37 weeks and 3 or 4 days, something like that. Actually on that Monday I actually had a doctor's appointment of me turning 37 weeks. They did pretty much about nothing. Same thing they pretty much always did at every other appointment. But I did not have my regular OB because he was actually out of town that week. So I had someone else. Which was fine because, it really didn't matter to me anyway. But I did ask the doctor at that time, when would they be start checking me, because I was like 37 weeks and no one had started checking to see if I was dilated or anything like that of that nature. And he pretty much was like, well, we're not worried about that because, you can be dilated a little bit and it could still be weeks, it'd be days, weeks, a while before you can even go into labor or something like that. And we'll pretty much just be waiting on when your contractions start or get stronger, pretty much. So I was like, okay, that's weird because I don't know what's going on right now and I would probably like to know. And that happened that Monday, that same week that I actually went into labor. So, that Wednesday, the day before my water broke, I did what I normally do. I bounced on the ball. I did some squats. And I did drink some of the Earth Mama tea, which I was already drinking for like the past 2 weeks maybe. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, maybe not, I don't know, but that's pretty much all I did that day. And that afternoon I pretty much went to the bathroom, had to use the restroom, and I saw like this clear mucus looking type stuff, and which I was kind of not really sure because I've never seen anything like that before. So I sent it to my two friends, Yanni and Tara, in our mommy group, because I was like, y'all, I don't know if this could be my mucus plug or what, but y'all let me know if this what this is. And I think Yanni said, yeah, that's what it was. And it wasn't a lot of it, it was just a little bit. So I was like, okay, this could be the start of, me going to possibly going to labor soon. So a little bit of that came out that Wednesday. And I felt fine. I didn't have any contractions or anything. I felt fine. Went to bed that night. Ooh, he burped already. Went to bed that night, and I'll say probably, it was just in the middle of the night. I know. I woke up. I felt this like sharp pain right here, and I jumped up, and I was like, oh my God, what was that? And when I got up, it was like water. It wasn't flowing or nothing, but it had looked like I had peed. It was going down my legs and pretty much kind of like wet my socks. And I was like, oh, it burped. And I was like, Richard, I think my water broke. And he jumped up and he was like, what? You think your water broke? I said, yeah, I believe so. I'm still in the midst of kind of being asleep. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on right now. It might use like 5:30 maybe in the morning, that Thursday morning. And I was like, yeah, I think my water broke. So I went to the bathroom. So I kind of walked to the bathroom and I got on the toilet. So, and I looked, it's TMI or whatever, I looked down in my underwear and it was like a lot of more mucus knots. So I'm pretty sure at that moment that was my mucus plug and my water was currently breaking. But at that time I didn't know that. I thought it was just my mucus plug, the rest of my mucus plug coming out. So we were just sitting in the bathroom and I was like, bro, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do at this point, because honestly, they really didn't tell me anything. And my doctor's, like what to pretty much prepare for at that time. I don't know, maybe because I was only 37 weeks, and they didn't think of like I could possibly go into labor at any time. But I felt like I wasn't really prepared. But luckily, we knocked on my sister's door and we pretty much asked her, like, my boyfriend was like, well, I think her water broke, I'm not really sure, you can come and see or whatever. So she came in the bathroom and she was like, oh, I think that's your mucus plug or whatever. I said, oh, okay, cool. And then she was like, yeah, you should be probably going to labor in like maybe within the next couple of days or within like the next week or whatever. I was like, okay. Oh, but then so I got up off the toilet, changed my underwear and everything. I got up off the toilet, and the water was still coming out, and I was like, you know what, something is wrong, because water is still coming out. It's the point to where I had to put on like a panty liner, a pad, because water was still coming out. Like as I was getting up, it literally just felt like I was peeing on myself, and I know I wasn't peeing. So my sister ended up going back to bed. I said, Richard, I don't know, you might need to go get her again, because, well, you know what, no. I went in her room. I said, Asia, I said, I think my water broke, because I'm still, like, water is still coming out. Like, it's not mucus plug, it's water now. And she said, oh, yeah, your water broke. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Like, then at that point, contractions didn't start, but I feel like 5 minutes after that, the contractions literally started, and I was like, oh wow, I was not prepared for what that felt like. And we didn't have a bag packed. I mean, Cairo bag was packed, but our bag wasn't packed. I still had stuff that was supposed to come, as far as postpartum stuff that I still didn't have yet, nightgowns. We literally just got that stroller. I stroller like the weekend before. We just had to come maternity pictures, luckily. So I'm like, if we had waited, we literally would have missed out on like everything that we literally was supposed to be doing. Because I was like, it ain't time yet, but it's time. I was really happy. I was like, Lord, what do I do? So once my water broke, the contractions literally started around, I'm gonna say around maybe 6:15, and they was like 5 minutes apart at that time. And I tried to time them, but when you going, it's like they weren't bad once they started, but they were bad enough for me to not pretty much focus on timing them. But we were on FaceTime with the baby's godparents, and my best friend Jaleesa was actually timing them for me, so she was kind of keeping up with it. And so I can't really say much on that, because in the midst of having those contractions, I was kind of lost train of thought, because I just know they was kind of like, they started off at 5 minutes apart, then this thing lasting for like a minute, and then it was like 3 minutes apart, lasting for like a minute, and that went on for like the next 3 hours, because my boyfriend was supposed to go to work at 7 or 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock that morning. So when my water broke, it kind of threw everything off. I was like, you know what, you need to call your boss, let him know that my water broke, and you probably won't be coming into work today, because it's happening. So then my sister was getting up for work. It was just a lot going on that morning. And what else happened? So yeah, I was here trying to pack our bags and have that situated for whenever my boyfriend came back, because he had to go handle some business real quick. So I was pretty much here going through contractions, and in the midst of the contractions, when they stopped, I was trying to get our hospital bags packed and make sure that we had everything we need, so by the time he came back, we can just go ahead and go. So so I ended up actually calling my mom, because I felt like, okay, well, I need to let her know what's going on. And she wasn't answering the phone. It took like, it seemed like a bunch of phone calls before she actually ended up picking up, but she was asleep. But I know it was something probably weird, like her phone was under it or sound wasn't on or something, because I know she would have answered. So I was still going through contractions, packing the bag. Then eventually she did answer, ended up coming. We ended up going to the hospital. We got to the hospital at like probably close to 8 o'clock. When we got there, they sent me to the back, of course, without Richard, because I guess they wanted to make sure I was actually in labor first before admitted me, of course, and before having anybody else come with me. So he had to sit back, which he was upset about that because they was acting crazy, but y'all know how Orangeburg is. Once I got back there, she said, well, I'm gonna check you and see if you ruptured or whatever. And I got undressed and she was like, oh yeah, you ruptured. And she checked me. At that point I was 3 centimeters dilated, so they admitted me. And the contractions were still coming at that point. They was pretty much, I want to believe, like literally every 2 minutes. But yeah, they admitted me. They told me I was 3 centimeters dilated, and then they got us into a room. At 8:46 I was 3 centimeters. At 12 I was 4, and I think around 11 is when I got my epidural. And that was, honestly, that was horrible because you're having contractions in the midst of getting your epidural, so they want you to sit straight up, completely still like this, hunched over, while you're going through contractions. I don't understand how they want you to do that. Ooh. I'm putting him back to sleep. Stop scratching your face, boy. So in the midst of that, they want you to sit up, pretty much sit up straight like this, hunch over like this. I had like a pillow. I was like this. I had like a pillow, and you hunched over like this, and they're going in like the middle of your back and sticking a needle in your back or whatever that, however that goes. But you're going through contractions in the midst of that, and it's hard to sit still when you feel like your whole vagina is about to fall out. Okay, so I was getting pissed because not only that, the person who was doing my epidural had a medical student, and I hate that because don't be doing that on me. I know you all gotta learn, and I get that, but can we speed this up? Because I'm looking at the screen because I can feel the contraction coming. I'm like, Lord, I know I'm not gonna be able to sit still. So the more I move, the longer it's gonna take to get this epidural in. So she got it in one time. Well, no, she thought she had it in. She had it in, but it was hurting because supposedly I was sitting on a, I don't know, I wasn't sitting straight. I was sitting in the middle or something. But you could tell my back is crooked if you're behind me, correct? So if my back was crooked, why didn't you say anything before you try to stick this in me? So it hurt the first time. So the second time I actually was sitting up straight. I was like, Lord, how much longer is it gonna be? And the lady nurse in front of me was like, well, not much longer. You can do it. At this point, I'm like, girl, y'all about to get punched. Somebody about to get punched if they don't hurry up and get this epidural in me, and I can go about my business. So got the epidural in around 12. I think she checked me again. I was at 4 centimeters dilated, and at that point, I believe the epidural kicked in. I could still feel the contractions, but it wasn't as intense as it was before the epidural. So I still felt pressure. I believe she went up a little bit if I asked, but it wasn't like I couldn't feel anything, but my body and stomach did start to feel like rubber. Like I was feeling like my stomach and stuff. It felt like rubber. So at that point I knew the epidural was working. But I definitely still felt when I had a contraction. It was just, like I said, not as intense. So I went through that for like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Cause at 2:30 she came back and checked me, and I was 8 centimeters. So it went by fast, but I felt like the ending part is when it kind of like, it was kind of like dragged out because and I didn't even write down yeah, so that's how I know it was serious, because I didn't even put down when they checked me again and I was at 10 centimeters, because that's when the contractions like overpower the epidural, because I feel like at that point the epidural was no longer probably working in my system. But I was like, okay, because that's, matter of fact, no, you know what, no, I didn't record it. But if you watch my labor and delivery vlog or whatever, you can see when I was actually going through the contractions. That was, I want to believe, was that after, yeah, that was actually after I had that epidural. So I did still feel the contractions. I'm over here trying to think, was that when I was towards the end, or was that in the beginning? I don't know, I'm sorry, I can't keep up, y'all. But towards the end, when I was 10 centimeters, I was like, okay, so am I gonna start pushing at 10 centimeters? Because normally that's when people start to push. She was like, no, there's something called a +1, a -1, or something. I guess something over 10 centimeters, because she was like, well, we want the baby to at least be crowning, that way it's not so hard for you to push, or you're not pushing as much or have to do as much work just to get him out. So they pretty much wanted me to be beyond 10 centimeters. That way we can just push a few times and he be out. Now at that time, I didn't like the way it sounded because the contractions were horrible. Like I literally was in tears. When I say tears, I have never felt a pain like that before in my life. I can't even describe it. It's like if you had a kid vaginally and you know what contractions feel like, but if you haven't, then I can't really explain it to you. People say period cramps times 1,000. I mean, yeah, I can say that, but it's like also like, because it hurt so bad because I felt like I wanted to push, and she kept saying no, don't push yet, but she was like, you can push. I did actually push like a couple times, but nothing, of course nothing happened. She was like, yeah, because nothing really happening right now, so it's gonna be hard, so we still gonna wait. And around that time, I believe it was like maybe 4:30, and the doctor who's actually was set to deliver my baby didn't get off until 4:30, or he didn't leave the office until 4:30. So I guess that kind of worked out well, because I didn't have my original OB who was supposed to deliver my baby because he was out of town. So we pretty much waiting on him. So it was like, I was like, man, I really feel like I need to push. Like this hurt. It felt like I wanted to poop. It felt like I had to poop like bad, and you telling somebody to hold your poop. What? Like it was just like pressure. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just like constant pressure towards the end, and then like the pushing process, it wasn't bad. It kind of went by fast, but I don't know, I think I kind of was out of it at that point. But when it was time to push, I don't believe I pushed that much or pushed that long, because I guess the 10 centimeter being past 10 centimeter thing worked, because he was crowning, his hair was on there. I'm talking about you. Hey, man. Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? Why are you looking crazy? You're messing up my video. But yeah, what I was saying, oh, when it was time for push, it was time for me to push. It wasn't bad. It was like, oh my god, it was so many people in the room at the time. And what's crazy is they can have all these nurses and medical students in while you having a whole baby, but you can only have one of your family members there. Like, do the medical students really have to be here? Like, that could have been 2 people of my people I had. I mean, because we all got on masks at this point. That's what I don't like. But anyway, when it was time for me to push, my mom and my sister actually was on FaceTime watching the whole thing. Richard was amazing. He held my hand through the whole thing, the whole process. He pretty much coached me through the whole thing. It was moments where I was wanting to be like, shut up, I know I got this, but I needed that, because I don't know what I would do without him. Even now, after Cairo, like parenting wise, but the whole birth process was a lot. Even the pregnancy was a lot, and he was there and is there through it all, and I thank him. So I pushed maybe a few times. I remember when he said, his head is down there, you can go and touch his head. And I actually touched his head, and I felt nothing but hair. And I could feel like him coming out. Like I felt the head, and then I could feel like the shoulder parts. Like I pretty much felt everything, but it wasn't painful for him. That's what I'm saying. So I guess that's what the epidural was supposed to do. She was like, well, I want you to be able to feel what's happening. You know, you don't want to be I guess you don't want to be out of it when you're giving birth. Yes, you want to feel the process of what's happening, but you don't want to be in pain. So I maybe pushed like maybe, I would say maybe 5 or 6 times, but you know, they want you to breathe 3 times within that contraction. So it might not have been that long, but I'm not sure. And he came out at 5:12 p.m. He was 6 pounds and 5 ounces. I'm dead. Why you looking like that? Come here, Cabo. Come here, Cabo. Why you looking like that, boo-boo? I'm so mean. So you talking about me, mommy? It was 19 1/4 long. And he had a head full of hair. And he was hollering. He was crying. He was crying. He was crying. But yeah, it was an experience. That's what I can say. I'm grateful everything went the way that it was supposed to. Well, it didn't go the way it was supposed to. I was supposed to have him in October, but you know, that's okay too, because he's still healthy. As long as he's healthy, I really don't care. But the whole birthing labor went smooth. We didn't have any problems. And yeah, that's pretty much my labor and delivery story. I hope you guys can relate to this video, or kind of, you know. So yeah, so just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos.